The Mohs Hardness scale is a system of classifying crystals and gemstones based on their relative hardness. It was devised in 1822 by a German mineralogist called Friedrich Mohs. He chose minerals to use as standards for the scale that have a distinct hardness and could easily be found in a high state of purity. His system is still used to this day to quickly narrow down and identify a mineral. These days, with all the other tests that we can use, the Mohs Hardness scale is a kind of a last resort because it involves placing a small scratch on the surface of the mineral. This makes it less helpful for jewellery pieces, for example, but in many cases it is a test that will quickly narrow down the possible identity of your test sample. Mohs used for his scale the following minerals. Number 1, talc. Number 2, gypsum. Number 3, calcite. Number 4, fluorite. Number 5, apatite. Number 6, feldspar, in this case moonstone. Number 7, quartz. Number 8, topaz. And number 9, corundum, in this case ruby, or it could be sapphire. And number 10, diamond. The scale is not a linear scale. For example, diamond is actually 4 times harder than corundum, and corundum is twice as hard as topaz. It is a simple relative scale used to categorize minerals and narrow down their possible identity. Mohs was criticized at the time amongst mineralogists, but his simple scale of reference is still used to this day as a basic test of a crystal or mineral's likely identity. Put simply, it is a measure of one mineral's ability to scratch the surface of another mineral. It has a number of practical uses. Firstly, you need to be willing to scratch the surface of your mineral, or otherwise to scratch another test sample with your unidentified mineral. Glass usually has a Mohs hardness of around about 5 to 6. So a perfect test as to whether a sample is actually quartz or whether it's glass is to simply attempt to scratch the sample with a piece of quartz. If it scratches the sample very easily, you've quickly ruled out quartz as a possible suspect. And this, of course, the quartz minerals include amethyst, rose quartz, citrine, smoky quartz, aventurine, etc. Topaz, for example, has a hardness of 8 and can easily be tested and non-destructively by attempting to scratch it with a piece of quartz. And no matter how hard you try, you simply cannot scratch the surface of topaz with a piece of quartz. Our fingernail, for example, has a hardness of 2.5. So it is actually useful